Good morning vlog. It is Sunday, March 10th, and I woke up a little bit later, gave myself a little bit more sleep this morning, and I am now at church, about to go through the normal morning routine of setting up all the equipment for my pastor to start recording the next episode of the podcast. But as I mentioned before, we're going to try and get a couple of weeks ahead of schedule this time around, since we're starting a new series this week. And I guess I'm just gonna run you through the normal process that I go through each morning in getting stuff set up. So early service is still going on right now, but that means that I just have some extra time to go into the classroom and get stuff set up for Pastor. I kind of want to have like a little talk with Pastor Adi this morning, just to make sure he's aware that, you know, we're in a whole new year of going on with this podcast. And something that I'd like to focus on this time around is growth and more involvement on our social media accounts, our social media platforms, to help build up this, not only the podcast brand, but also the church's brand as well. And one thing that I think we can do about that is to have a video recording device in the back, just a little handheld camcorder that we have on a tripod, and that we can record the Bible class as we're also recording the audio. Then we can transcribe that audio later, and then take the same snippet from the video recording and use that in either some Facebook ads or just Facebook content, Instagram content, and on other platforms. I think that can be really handy. So that's something I'm planning to work on. I'm going to float the idea to Pastor later, because he's going to be the one that's on camera, and we're going to see what happens from there. Changing out the batteries right now. Got fresh batteries in the recorder, fresh batteries in the body pack, and I don't know whether all these are charged or not, but I'm going to put these on the wall charger just to make sure. Right, and now that I have all that set up, now I get to go and put it over here, get this started up. Good morning, how are you? All right, and now I'm going to need to put this camera down because I need to use both my hands. So I just have my phone here,
right,
in a device that will
cool.
hold it, and then this thing, I'm using it as kind of like just a selfie cam mode right now, but I can adjust it to make it into a tripod. And then I also have an external microphone that can attach to my iPhone. So this is way better than the on-device microphone. And so I'm just using this whole setup right now as kind of like just to do a personal like daily vlog that I do.
Oh, nice.
And so I'm just going through like my normal morning routine on Sunday on how I like set up the equipment and whatnot. Yeah. No, for like, this is my vlog. This is Pastor Adi, where we do the Messiah Upper Room podcast. Yes. And we're going to be recording the episode today. Actually, this is going to be the first episode of the new year. Yeah. Right? So we've done the podcast for one.
I was going to mention that to the group this morning.
Okay.
So you need to stay here so I can.
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'll be here. I'll be here. All right. And now I'm taking my usual position back here next to our PA system that we have, just to make sure that the audio sounds just fine for the rest of the class.
In the specific context of the story, but then also thinking about it maybe in a little broader sense. And so the guy that we're going to be talking about today is Jethro, who was the father-in-law of Moses, right? And so Moses had gotten himself into a little bit of a dilemma with respect to his leadership of the people of Israel. And then Jethro, who's the father-in-law, came to visit him and noticed some of the struggles that Moses was having. And so then he was going to offer his opinion or his advice on that. So then they bring that dispute to him, and then he decides kind of, well, we should do this or we should do that. Okay, so that's the one thing that he was doing. And then what's the other thing that he was wanting to be able to do or needing to do? Yeah, Austin.
He was teaching, inquiring people who would inquire about God.
Yeah, Yeah.
Who he's kind of acting as a pastor.
That's right. So he was not only being an arbiter, but he's also being a proclaimer or a teacher of what God said and what God's thoughts were. And because he was in daily communication with God, that would make perfect sense that he would do that. But notice Jethro's. How does Jethro approach his son-in-law?
Okay, so finished with... Actually, I had to step out of the class early because now I need to go over to the sanctuary in order to do our sound check for late service. So that's where I'm on my way right now. And I did like a little bit of a progress report in a way with the class on... since this is the 1 year that we have gone through doing the podcast, and I outlined like what we had done for the past year, and one of my goals was to get better analytics so we can get better numbers, so to speak, on how many people are actually listening to the podcast, which we have about, best I can estimate right now is about 70 or 80 people. Where they're listening from. We have listeners from coast to coast, apparently, from the platform that I use, Simplecast, that I can see. We even have some international users. We have some listeners as far as Japan, of all places, which was pretty interesting. So, and then I kind of outlined what I wanted to do for the upcoming year in terms of I really want to focus on growth, building brand, and continuing to push Pastor Adi and getting him outside of his comfort zone to help, generate more listeners.
Only one whose name will last forever. And I don't want to leave a legacy. I don't care if they remember me. Only Jesus. And I've only got one life to live. I'll let every second point to Him. Only Jesus.
Continuing to go through our sound check right now. So we have our praise team there, and then Toby's over here on guitar, and I'm just mixing as we can right here. I'll have a little bit more video later of me going through the mixing process before we actually do service.
Where I let light go dark, here's where my new story starts. Take my life and let it be set on fire for all to see. Break me down, build me up again. Don't leave me the way I've been. Take my heart into your hands. Come and finish what you began. Till I seek your kingdom first. Till I shine like heaven on earth. Like heaven on earth.
I wanna wait, I wanna see all of the ways you're moving. Show me the need, 'cause I wanna be a part of what you're doing. In my heart, let kingdom come. Not my will.
About 5 minutes before service is actually supposed to start, so I am gonna go into prep mode for that. Okay, I'm just got out of service. I'm trying to run downstairs really quick to see if I can snag a quick picture with Pastor Adi, and this way we can also hold this guy here and say that, it's been the 1 year anniversary. In case you want to check it out, go to messiahlutheranpodcast.com/subscribe. And there's a little video on there that shows you how you can subscribe to our podcast if you're interested. But I just want to use this as an opportunity to get some extra content from Pastor and so we can use that in some of our promotions and social media blog posts. Pretty crazy.
What a wonderful service. My life has changed.
Yes, for sure. It was great. So, actually, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick picture. Since it is the 1-year anniversary, I wanted to send this off to
let's do
Jody
that, yeah.
so we can put on some
Especially
social
now
media
since I'm
stuff.
skinnier.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Not all the robes and whatnot.
That's
So,
right.
all right, was able to run into Pastor Audie before he left for the day, but got a couple of good pictures out of it. Gonna use that to post on my account, and then I'm going to also draft some up to send over to the head of the social media accounts for the church themselves, so they can repost it. And I'm going to give them a little bit of guidance on what type of hashtags and what kind of copy they can use for that posting. But for now, I actually need to go grab I need to put some stuff up here for one thing, and then I need to go grab the audio files for the upcoming podcast. Right now, back on my way over to Pastor Audie's classroom, so I can grab the audio files that we'll be posting, I guess, in 2 weeks or so. I cleared it with Pastor Audie that since we do have a couple of previous episodes, he titled them 1 Week Wonders. We do have like 2 of those episodes, so I'm going to go ahead and edit those instead. Send those to Pastor Audie in advance for approval. Then that gives me about 2 weeks or so of leeway time to get further ahead and edit the podcast that we just recorded today. I got the equipment here, going to go ahead and do my normal battery exchange that goes on. That's why I like to just have these batteries charging during the class and then later the service, because then they'll be freshly charged batteries ready to go for next week. And I don't know how interesting this may be, but I mean, I already took out the 3 batteries. I don't want to mix the 2. These are the ones that have already been used. So I'm just going to plug in these new ones that I just now charged, if I can get them out, because I don't have any fingernails. Okay, there we go. And we'll put that one there. And we'll put this one here. And there we go. Oh, and one more. Well, I need to also, make sure these guys will be nice and charged and ready to go for next week as well. But I also need to change out the SD card, which is on this flap side here. And I needed to double check because I wasn't able to arm it for recording, because there's a little lock protected switch on the side of the SD card here. So if it's in the lock position, it protects it so that you can't write anything new to it. It's to help prevent anyone from accidentally writing over whatever you may have put on the SD card previously. So here I have the SD card that I'm taking with me. I'm going to be replacing it now with a 32 gigabyte SD card, and there's a nice little color difference here. Here's the new one that I'm replacing, and you can see the little white edge on the back side there, and then here you can just see a little black edge. So that helps me with an additional visual confirmation, okay, I have the right one with me, or I need to change it out. Like the last one, if I pick this up next week, it's okay, the last one that I put in there is the white edge one, so I need to change it out with the black edge one, or vice versa. And so, got the batteries charging, everything's locked up, and the door's going to lock behind me as well, so we have a double lock thing going on. And let's see, what else? Now I need to go return some items that I had previously borrowed, and I need to give my sister a call because it's her birthday today, and I forgot to call her this morning, and I'm such a bad brother. I'm sorry, sis. Back from church, got some brunch in us, and now we are heading out to the grocery store to do some shopping for food throughout the week. Keto baking stuff, so we got some stevia and some coconut flour because my wife is a wonderful lady that supports me in my weird lifestyle changes, and I appreciate her very much for it. was giving me so much crap about getting kosher salt. Kosher salt! We found it! It's coarse kosher salt! It's bigger than that stupid iodized salt. Recipe for keto Thin Mints online, and all those Girl Scout cookies I saw a couple of weeks back being sold around everywhere got me really hankering for some. So I got some dark chocolate, and we're gonna try it out. Wife is really excited that I got the Ghirardelli chocolate. Oh my gosh. Went out, got groceries, and came back to the apartment. Hung out for a little bit. I made dinner, wonderful steak dinner, and used that Gordon Ramsay style of cooking a steak. I did a little bit overdone, but it was still delicious. And now I am working on setting up kind of a podcast style type, interview style type, or just two panel. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I don't know. It's hard for me to describe it, so maybe I should just show you. I don't know. Because this is just an idea that I had of, or something I've been working on for a while, to just more make a mobile, like, co-hosting podcast type setup. And so if I can flip this around here, this is what I currently have set up. I have one dynamic microphone over here. That's my Sennheiser E835. And then I also have over here my Shure SM58. That'll be for me. And I also have my interface here, which is a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. And that's where both microphones are going into. And now the cool thing that I have set up here, or will have set up, is I have it going into a USB, where is it? An Anchor USB hub right here. Now, that's the important part, because that USB hub is connected to the iOS, iPhone, iPad camera connection kit, which will then go into a lightning cable here that I will then plug in to my iPad. But before I do that, I have to power this guy, because the Scarlett 2i2 draws too much power where the iPad itself cannot power it. And that's where this handy dandy, gigantic, colossal Anchor battery comes into play. And so I can put in technically 3 different USB devices, 1 USB-C and 2 USB-A. So I have an iPad Apple lightning cable charger that I'm going to plug into the camera connection kit as well. But I also have this guy that will be plugging into the Anchor as well. And yeah, let me get everything set up real quick. Okay, now that I have power coming out of the battery here, going into the camera connection kit, flowing into the USB hub here and into the Scarlett 2i2, I can now connect this guy up to my iPad, and it will also have the benefit of not only connecting automatically to the camera connection kit and interfacing with my interface, my Scarlett 2i2, but because I also have it plugged in to my battery, my external battery here, it is also charging my iPad at the same time. And this is a huge battery. This is almost a 27,000 milliamp hour battery. It can charge this iPad, my iPhone at the same time, multiple times over. Not going to be running out of juice anytime soon. Now, what my plan is to do when recording podcasts, at least on my iPad, is to go into this wonderful recording app called Ferrite. And as you can see, it's already recognized the Scarlett 2i2 via USB right here. And it has 2 different channels here, left and right, but it's all one track. I can split that track later. Now, let's see. Let's do a little bit of testing here. Mic check. Come on, where are you? Maybe I need to do a little bit of troubleshooting to see what's going on here. So I figured out what exactly the problem was. It's because my Shure SM58 actually has a switch on here, a mute switch, and I actually had it in the off position. So I just needed to change it around, and now I have audio levels for both my microphones. Now, as you can see, since I have two microphones hooked up here, one goes into the left channel, one goes into the right channel. So when I'm talking on my Shure SM58 here, you can see it registering on the left channel more. And as I go over to the Sennheiser E835 on the right channel, which is to my left, weirdly enough, you can see it registering more on the right channel right here. So there's a little bit of audio stuff for you. So I had a little bit of an issue going on with the setup that I have right now, is that I heard a little bit of buzzing whenever I was trying to monitor the feed from both microphones. And if you've done like any audio mixing or like live audio production, you can be familiar with this type of buzzing that I'm talking about. It's just very faint. It's just one kind of tone. It's very low. It's like brrr, and it's due to basically what's called a grounding issue. So like with the microphone, it completes a circuit, which is what you hear the sound through. And if that circuit is not properly grounded, then you hear this buzzing in your headphones whenever you're trying to mix it in a live situation. I had to do a little bit of troubleshooting to see what was going on, what was happening. And I think it's because one of the XLR microphone cables that I had was bad and causing it to make that tone, because I swapped out some cables. I moved my Focusrite back into my normal studio. I had 20% battery left on my iPhone. Anyway, then I moved my Focusrite back into the office where I have my other microphone set up, the other cable rather, and I put my Shure SM58 back on there, and I wasn't hearing that buzzing anymore, which led me to believe, oh, it's got to be the cable. So I swapped out the cable with a much longer one. I need to get a shorter one. I need to go by Guitar Center or something and go online and get a couple of like just 3 6-foot cables. But anyway, I was still hearing like just a very even. It was still a slight buzz, but it was even fainter than before. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me, or what? I'm not quite sure. It could also be that I'm not in the most appropriate area to be doing this type of recording, because the kitchen's right behind me and the refrigerator's on, so it's already generating its own little type of buzz. It was off earlier, so it was nice and quiet, but now it's on. So this may not be the ideal environment to do my podcasting stuff in the future. I may want to move that into the office, but right now a lot of the office is being taken up by my project of selling my parents' stuff. So until I get that sold and moved out, then I guess I'm needing to find an alternative location to do this stuff in. I'm doing my microphone check right now. I'm not getting that buzz anymore, I don't think. And I'm gonna do a little bit of Snapchat inception so I can see something's registering on both microphones here, ever so slightly. But yeah. So I'm recording right now, and we're seeing what's happening with the recording. And this is why I like the iOS stuff, because I can. So I've already, let me do this. I think it's still going on in the background. Let me see if I can find it again and open it back up. Here it is. So yeah, it's still recording. And what's really cool is that I can swipe up from the bottom here, and I can, nope, I cannot do that. I can do this. I can hold it, and I can bring this into a multitasking mode right here, which is kind of cool. So I can still go online and look at stuff, but still monitor the feeds that we get from both microphones on the Scarlett 2i2. And what's even cooler is that I can actually do this. I can grab this. If I can, I think I'm doing this right. There we are. And now I can just swipe it away and then swipe it back. Swipe away, swipe back. And now I can even do even triple multitasking with something. I don't want to show. What do I want to show? I don't know. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do Twitter. And then I can do my multitasking here. Come on. Yoink. And then, so I have these two apps open. I have Twitter on one side. And then I can just swipe in my recording as it's going on. And I can just swipe it out and continue on. So I can monitor Twitter and do some research on the left-hand side, all while I'm also making sure that the audio is here. And actually, I can swap this out, I think, if I want to. Can I do it? Nope. I'm going to have to figure that out later. But anyway, just wanted to show off a little bit of that iOS multitasking and the versatility that you can have from a variety of different apps. So I'm doing audio recording for a podcast, just a test right now, with 2 external microphones here. And I can look and see what the conversation's happening on Twitter if need be. And then I can also look up news articles and whatnot online to discuss for the tech podcast that I have in the works with a friend of mine from church. And here's just a little different view of the setup that I have right now. I don't have everything plugged in fully, but this is pretty much it. They're my headphones for listening to just monitoring the audio, and then this little rat's nest here. That's why I need shorter cables. Always have appropriate length cables. All right, so I'm about to go to bed because the time change has made me lose an hour in the past 24 hours. So 23 hours now. Lost an hour. Anyway, before I wanted to sign off for the night, I just wanted to kind of reflect on what happened a little bit earlier today whenever I was at church. And it really actually also resonated with the sermon of all things. Oddly enough, I came to a little bit of a realization during Pastor Audie's class whenever I was getting everything ready and set up and just going through the motions. And one thing that particularly stuck out to me that I came to a realization about was that I, the whole entire time whenever I was going through the motions of setting stuff up and whatnot, I had my camera gear out, just doing my normal vlog thing. Normal now, that wasn't normal to them because it was the first time that I ever had the full setup in front of everyone in the class. And I may have gotten some weird looks. I may have gotten some questionable looks. I don't know. Although I hope what I inspired mostly in terms of reaction was just intrigue more than anything else. Because I don't know, I just am getting more comfortable with being in front of the camera now and having a camera in front of me just pointing at myself as I go about in normal daily life. It's annoying and embarrassing for my wife, but because she's with this weirdo that is videoing himself for whatever reason, some narcissistic reason or what have you. But I'm just getting more comfortable with the notion that I'm not caring what other people think. I'm just doing me, and I'm just letting my actions speak for itself. So, and that kind of resonated with me in that whenever I was growing up back in high school, I wasn't an active big rebellious type person, but I did not like being really told what to do. So I skirted as best as I could in between the lines of I was still technically following the rules, but I was almost just about to break them. And I always wanted to just be different in a way. I didn't want to be just like everyone else. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to look weird. I didn't want to just be a conformist, so to speak. So I did some pretty weird stuff. Like I really expressed myself through my backpack of all things, because I didn't want just a normal backpack. So for example, whenever I started out, I put like thousands of rubber bands, at least hundreds, probably thousands of rubber bands, just all on my backpack, where it looked like just like a weird like Ewok was like on my back going with me from class to class. And it looks so weird. But then after that, like I put hundreds and hundreds of soda can tabs on little clothespins, safety pins that then I pinned to my backpack. So like then I went from, you know, this woolly brown thing on my back to this shiny jingly thing on my back. and so that was just all in an effort to be different and to, I get, like, not to be noticed, but to just be questioned in an inquisitive way. Like, why the F does this guy have this crap on his back? But if you ask anyone from my high school class to this day, they'll be like, they may be like, who's Phil Casper? Or they may be like, oh, Phil Casper, the one with the weird shit on his back. You know, like, pardon my French, but like that was me. So and I didn't care. The whole point of that story is that I think I'm starting to get back into that mode where I'm not caring how weird I look. I'm just doing me. I may want to either stand out just for myself, or it's just I'm more comfortable being that way. And how it all tied into the sermon of all things was, and I'll link it into the YouTube video when I post this on YouTube later if they have it up on the Messiah channel. But Pastor Coleman was talking about how we can go about being a witness in our everyday lives, and part of that, I think there were 5 different points. One point was just to be real, just to be you. And be out there. Don't put on a front. Don't be fake, because people they have an uncanny ability to just sniff that out. So I guess I'm just getting more in touch with who I am as a person and how I communicate and what I do. And part of that is just becoming more self-aware in what that is. So I just wanted to recount that now before going to sleep, because I wanted to get that, I guess, on the record for my own edification for later. And just that's it. Now I'm just rambling, but anyway, maybe I just need to get some sleep, because it is now 11 o'clock, even though it's technically 10 o'clock, but I'm still going to be waking up hell early. And anyway, I hope you had a great Sunday, or whatever day you're watching this. I hope it was fantastic. And I will just see you tomorrow.